Yo, Savory.
Yo,
The Knicks won last night
I saw that actually.
against the. Oh, my man, my
Wow.
man,
Well, I didn't see the game, but I saw
my
that they
man.
won.
50 grand. You finally keeping tabs.
Yeah,
I
like,
got
wow.
through to you. I got through to you.
They won like by 1 point. Who they beat
by
again?
1 point. The undefeated Bulls.
Wow, Bulls is like my favorite team.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, so that's why I knew, because I'm like, if there's anything, I'm just super excited for the Bulls this year, because like it's a squad, bro.
I know it's a squad, but
not only
listen,
that
the
it's
Knicks
a
are
squad,
stacked. The
but it's a
Knicks
fun
are
squad
stacked.
to watch. You know, you got Lonzo. These dudes are fun to watch to me. You know, so it reminds me of new and old school basketball together. Anyways, yeah, we out here.
Wait a minute. New and old basketball. The Bulls remind you of that?
Yeah, because Lonzo is that point guard pass first. You got Zach LaVine fundamental. I know it's like fast paced, but they also like play good basketball. I feel it's just fun to me.
But they're not a winning kind of caliber team. They're not a championship team.
They are, yeah. They're gonna do
They
well.
are a playoff team. There's a difference.
Well, they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll tell you that.
Of course.
Yeah, but that's winning caliber. You're
that's
one
not saying
series
much
away from
about the East. That's not saying much about the East.
Well,
Come on.
you're that means they're one series away from making the championship.
Then they're not a championship winning team. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, like the Knicks, you saying?
The Knicks, on the other hand, I don't think they're a championship winning team either.
Okay, there we go.
There's certain aspects to a basketball team, or when you see a championship team, when you see it. When you see it, they're well-rounded. They play very well together. They're very good defensively. I mean, most of these teams that win championships usually have great possessional defense at some points.
The Knicks
Overall defense, not really. No.
Wait, it's hard to keep up with the news nowadays, bro.
I see that you have interesting COVID facts. Where are we putting this at? Just as a little side note here.
I'll put it under the children. I moved it already. Under the children to be vaccinated.
Oh, got you. My bad. I see that. Great. I think we're ready to go. You got me on my heels here, by the way. I have to say.
Look, man.
I want to pick a bone with you today. You got me on my heels. I wake up. I got a text. Yo, can we do this earlier? I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm not even ready.
But you know, you
Like
born already. You born for this, so you
yo,
good, man.
just so y'all know, this is really live and unscripted.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
a text, yo, can we do this earlier? And then I'm like, okay, let's do it earlier. Whenever
Fridays
the
do it a bit
bell
earlier.
rings, whenever
It's
the
live
bell
and
rings,
unscripted. This is why. This is another reason we got to think about. We try to do our homework the day and beforehand to try to stay educated on these topics. That's the only way to really do.
this is
Be
relevant
flexible, you
details,
know.
very relevant. Hold on, let's get our audience
I thought you
involved.
said
Let's get
rhythm and
engaged.
details.
No, relevant details.
Oh, I like how that sounds, though.
Rhythm and details. That's good.
All
All
right.
right, hello and welcome to another live broadcast. I'm Macho, that's Savory, and together we are Drinks with a Nobody, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. Be sure to follow us on Twitch in case you haven't already at MachoFix88 and at Savory_Edition. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter at MachoFix88 and at Savory_Edition. Hey, Savory, how's TikTok?
We booming.
It's booming. Be sure to follow us also
Yeah.
on TikTok at Savory_Edition as well and at MachoFix88. I'm building up my TikTok and I think I'm getting a little algoritmatized.
I see you.
I think I'm getting algoritmatized out. I'm not getting the kind of viewage.
That happens in some of my videos. You know, the thing about TikTok is just I put some videos to this day, I get 100. I put other videos the same hour, I get 10. It's just they have a weird algorithm that you just never know, which is why people keep posting.
Yeah,
You know
just keep going. Just keep going. Yeah.
That's what you got to
Well,
do, man.
I'm building up that TikTok. I'm trying to catch up to the glory of my man Savory here, an overnight sensation. And in case you miss any of our content, be sure to follow us. And where we want everyone to be funneled to is our YouTube channel. We're building that up, folks. We want to build this content up. We want to be able to broadcast all this information right to there, build our audience there. Hit that subscribe button, click
Yes,
that
sir.
notification bell so you never miss a thing. When we go live, you know it. Hey, Savory, why on earth do we want to build an audience? What kind of audience do we want to communicate to?
Great question, man. Great question. We're going live Monday through Friday for one reason, man, to build that community of people that can openly speak about ideas, controversial or not. This might be a channel if you find yourself being censored or censoring yourself. You know, we censor ourselves in this world, but if that's you, man, come to this channel. You know, we might offend you, you might offend us, but we still
I
gonna
don't
build
get
that
offended.
community.
Stop it.
You know what I'm saying? You might get offended in the future.
I
We
don't
might
get
have some
offended.
people out here, you know, but the goal is to look beyond the offense, try to learn, build that community. And if that's you, and I think that's a lot of us, man, wouldn't you agree, Macho? I think that's a lot of us
The
nowadays.
far left is the one that gets offended, not
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm
moderates
saying
and
it's a lot of us that want that space, though, low key. I think on both sides that really want that space to really talk about things freely without being like judged or talked about or looked at a certain way, you know? So
facts.
again, Drinks to the Nobody YouTube channel, like Macho said, that is us. And if you want those conversations, come join us Monday through Friday every day at 6 p.m. with the exception of today where we're live at 5.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. We have to make accommodations. But please do not sit here without a beverage. This is called Drinks with a Nobody for a reason.
What you
Go
got
in
today?
that fridge, go in that kitchen, grab yourself a beverage of choice.
Oh,
I got my soul cup, Mr. Baritone. Coffee in this cup. What
I
you
got
got
the
there? What you
early
drinking?
wine. Early wine.
Ooh,
A little bit of wine.
okay. My
Early
man on
on.
a Friday early, he's having some.
I'm in New York. Had to come here to get a cup. I got a long ride home. I'm like, let me sip down this wine for the live.
All right, folks, let's be prepared to engage. Let's see. We got a first chat. We have a first comment. Can I drink at work? Listen,
Oh.
I ain't telling.
I ain't saying nothing.
It's Friday,
Drink for
y'all.
nobody. Alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, whatever you can. Don't blame us if you get fired. All right, man.
All right, Savory. What do we got for today? What is our
All
hot
right,
lineup for today?
let's run through this lineup today. I'm gonna leave some stuff in the dark. I'm gonna make them wait. But we got let me just unveil that first topic. But we got some health. I'm gonna give you a clue. We got some COVID conversation, but we're gonna jump off with some CRT. For those of y'all who haven't seen the video that went viral, a parent talking about CRT. Now we also played the clip a day or two ago about the attorney general being criticized for investigating parents into their critique of the school system, but the refusal of investigating my man Fauci for lying. You know what I'm saying? Let me show so that in the
Well, let's be clear. He didn't refuse. He said, "I cannot comment on a ongoing or non-going investigation." That's the typical,
AKA
professional answer.
he refused.
If you haven't noticed what we're about to play here, this is the reason why the whole CRT movement happened, folks. Just before this summer, I have to say, maybe around. I got to look at the timestamp on this. Let me just collapse this a bit. June 3rd, 2021.
That's when the wave
This
started.
this woman here is the leader of the CRT revolution. She deserves the cake and the cherry for this, because what she is saying here, she's about to smoke the school board in New York. And in a liberal state in New York, by the way, this is where it all started. It
Gotta
didn't
love
start in deplorable South. It didn't start in Virginia and Loudoun County. It didn't start in Los Angeles. It started right here, the revolution in New York City, in New York State.
This is hefty, so we might play a lot of this. But yeah, let's do this.
Good evening. My name is Tatiana Ibrahim, and I'm here for the first time. I'm here tonight not only as a community member, but as a parent in this district. Recently, you sent out a survey wanting to know why parents were not voting yes for this budget. So my situation, my vote for no is a little different. I think the Board of Education and those sitting on the panels are thieves. I think they're liars and have committed treason against our children.
Uh-oh.
My message to this district and the members of the Board of Ed: stop indoctrinating our children. Stop teaching our children to hate the police. Stop teaching our children that if they don't agree with the LGBT community, that they're homophobic. You have no idea each child's life. You don't know what their family lifestyle consists of. You don't know the makeup of their life. You have children like mine, who is Muslim, and I'm Christian. Mm-hmm. And everyone would think, they would never believe that of her, right? Because the way she looks, or according to Miss Cyrus, she's too pasty white.
Ma'am, excuse me. I'm up here.
Yo, look at her face.
I don't know why it's lagging there, folks, but
Yo, look
just
at
bear
her.
with me.
We're not allowed to use names. If you have something you'd like to discuss about a specific person, you can call the superintendent or leave your info for her to call you tomorrow.
Why are we not allowed to discuss names? Why am I not allowed, when they purposely themselves expose themselves on social media, talking about calling for the death of a former president, or saying that any child that doesn't believe in Black Lives Matter should be canceled out? Is this what my tax dollars is paying for? You're teaching my children and other children that if they believe in God Almighty, they're part of a cult. What? These educators put their own names out there. We have Mr. Barry, who took it upon himself with Miss Cyrus to create a curriculum.
That should be it.
I have to say, she's naming names. She's naming names.
Yeah, she just ignored it. She's like, yeah, I'm throwing names out.
Why? No, honestly, is that why can't she name names? I'm
these are public officials,
right?
Who are doing public service, who are openly teaching these things in the open. Now you can't call their name.
Wait, who are the public officials? Sorry, who are the public officials?
Like public servants, right? Teachers and all,
like
these are
teachers.
Public servants.
Yeah.
So a better word, public servants. These are people who are actually, especially board members. They're doing it. You could call them public officials, I would say, but public servants, where they're actually doing something for the public good, quote unquote. And now you can't call their name. They got to stay on the low. Nah, you don't get that.
Why can't you say their names? I'm curious. Is there like a legal issue with that? Can you look that up? Is there any like legal ramifications with naming names at a school board while we're playing this? Let's do more due diligence here. Let's see what's going on. I'm curious.
Do you want the proof? I have the proof. You created a curriculum of Black Panther indoctrination.
Ma'am,
You use taxpayers' dollars.
ask you one more time. I have no issue hearing what you have to say, but
Why can we not let the public speak? Why can't we let the public know that you're teaching our children to go out and murder our police officers?
That
Do
is
you
not-
want the proof? I have the proof. Is that what scares you, the proof? That a parent actually standing up against all of you? Is that what scares you, to call out the names of these people? You work for me. I don't work for you. You have a duty.
Talk
We
to
are
him.
entrusting our children to you.
Hold on.
We
Hold on, I
teach
need
our
more coffee for
children
this.
morals, values, when they grow up to commit crimes and end up
Oh
in
my God.
prison and kill a police officer. It's our fault? No, it's your fault.
Yes.
You're emotionally abusing our children and mentally abusing them. You're demoralizing them by teaching them communist values. This is still America, ma'am.
About it.
And as long as I'm standing here on this good ground earth of God, I will fight. And I'm not, this is not the last of me you will see.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm retired. I
Oh.
have nothing else better to do.
Woo, I'll be here every day, baby.
We can do it peacefully.
By the way, I looked into the story of her. I believe she's an ex-police officer.
Wow, that's crazy. By
So,
the way, I was looking at legal ramifications. I don't see anything about that other than protecting like a state or a local kind of rule, like a rule and regulation. It could be that, but not a law. I don't think. There's
Right.
no
So
law.
teachers are
You
not
can name whoever you
protected
want.
as teachers are not protected as solely as private citizens, correct?
No, actually the opposite. They're public servants. Yeah, even
Yeah.
private school ones. Yeah, yeah. You can.
You're
you can name all
getting
you want.
you're getting public funding from the federal government. So
Facts.
I mean, come on. Like, she's naming names because she's bringing to light not only the things that she has heard. She's going to get into the story about why she's bringing this up, but she also named the fact that these people are speaking this way in their social media accounts,
Mm.
calling
Yeah,
for a
they're-
death of
they're
a
doing
previous
publicly, but then they're
president.
saying, "Don't say my name." What?
Nah, we're gonna say names. We're gonna name drop. here.
Yeah, I'm liking this. Let's see what else she got.
Oh, we have to keep playing this.
This is fire.
Just, oh my God.
This
Or
is
we
deep.
can take it to the highest courts, because you know and I know I'm not the only parent fighting us all across America.
She is actually, as I dig further, she is fighting in court. She's absolutely fighting in court. She got lawyers, she got everything. She's not playing around, bro.
That's dope.
The reason why the CRT revolution is happening is because of this woman, and this woman needs to get that respect.
That's what's up.
America right now. Schools are trying to poison our children's minds, teaching them about things that they have no right to be taught in school.
so
So-
normally, no, I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just give you just a feedback for a moment. I have no problem having a peaceful discussion. This is not a peaceful discussion.
No, that's your opinion. See, here we go again. This
No.
is peaceful. To me, this is peaceful.
Well,
I'm not burning, looting, and murdering. This is peaceful.
I did not accuse you of that, but
It's 'cause you're
I
offended.
don't have a problem having a
It's 'cause you're
conversation with you.
offended.
A peaceful conversation, which
We
is
got
this.
a progressive snowflake out here,
Come on.
ladies and gentlemen.
What's your justification for this not being peaceful? That she's passionate.
What is
speaking about
offensive?
something?
What is offensive? Just curious. What is
Their
it?
ideology is being challenged. These teachers run a tight ship. These
Dear
schools
God.
are teaching CRT curriculum on a agenda-driven purpose. Not just accident. They're driving certain values. When she talked about BLM, right? When she talked about the mentality of shaping these kids as they're growing up, they're messing these kids up. She's challenging
extreme-
that, and they
yeah.
get offended. They live
Hey,
and die by these ideologies. These
Is this fair to say, to make this comment, that the extreme left and the extreme right remind me of the character Xerxes in 300?
Mm.
I am God. I am a kind God. You can't defy me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, the extreme
There's
left-
nothing good in extremities, by the way. Nothing
There's
good.
not. And the extreme left gets more criticism because they just have hold of more power through institution. That's the only
Yeah,
reason.
the
They
far
got-
right are the far right are just, you know,
Yeah, they're just anomaly. out there.
deplorables.
Yeah.
They're the deplorables.
This is not.
$6.95 per child in the middle school to buy a curriculum from readtome.org that wasn't even approved by the Board of Ed. The administrators took it upon themselves to buy these books with taxpayer dollars while COVID is going on. How many families are struggling to pay their mortgages? Listen, by all means, You want to teach kids
she's
these
coming
things?
with the
Fine.
smoke.
Don't do it on my dollar. Don't infringe on my religious beliefs.
Okay.
Don't infringe. Do you know who makes up the majority of this district? Children from police officers' families.
Okay,
Blues.
there it is.
Back the blue children. Do you know what these children feel like when they come home? Have you spoken to them? No. You're silencing them. This whole cancel culture.
He's
You're
challenging all.
silencing the children. Where are their rights? They have no rights.
Nobody
Because if
say-
they don't believe in the indoctrination,
Oh my God.
Yo, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. She,
Oh
she
my God.
yeah, she came for war. She
I'm
came
telling you,
for war.
this video is intense. We got like 5 minutes left. Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going a little more because it's very relevant. She's hitting it on the nail every minute. So let's
I told this came out early in the year. This is the
yeah,
reason
well-
why the wave hit.
let's play another two.
the
three
demonic,
minutes.
twisted, sneaky, vile acts and education, if you call it that you're teaching our children, they don't agree with that. They're either homophobic, they're part of a cult, they're racist. What's racist? Who defines racist? Why? Because do you know what race I am? Do you? You don't. You don't even have an idea. I could be black. I could be white. I could be Asian. You don't know. Who are you to determine that? Who is anyone to determine that? You know what? Children in the school system, children like other children, they don't look at color. Black and white children, Hispanic children, you know why they get along? Because they don't look at each other's color. So you're the racist, not them, not us. You're judging and dividing. You're causing segregation. Everything that we fought for, everything that I fought for years. So you have the right to stand here and tell me I'm not allowed to mention a name when the person, the Mr. Barry and Miss Cyrus themselves, you have ELA teachers giving out assignments on police murder. Police are bad? You want the proof?
Okay.
Because we have it.
So
What policy do you have that teachers are not allowed to go on social media and indoctrinate? They took an oath, a responsibility, and they're going against everything that they stand for.
End.
Yeah.
well,
End.
I understand.
End it?
I have to say that the later part of this video, Savory, is so explosive because what she also exposes is that they were having like the teachers or the faculty of that school specifically was literally giving them information on how to think positively of Joe Biden, like giving them like these
Can you-
little
can you-
things.
Can you go to that part?
Yeah. Let me see.
Let's wrap
here.
up with that part. Yeah, that's good right there.
End it? I have to end it?
So
Hold
Why?
on, I don't know.
I-
exactly
Why? You're
where-
on my dollar. Why? Making assumptions. I'm not.
Because you
I
just-
know what I'm speaking about. See,
know what?
I don't
I'm not-
agree
I'm not
with you,
gonna
so it's an
engage.
assumption.
Well, I'm not going to engage in a back and forth with you about this. So if you would like to make an appointment, I would be happy to sit with the superintendent.
I don't
and have
want to. The
conversation.
superintendent, the assistant superintendent already sent an email and stated that they had no idea that these books were being put in the students' hands. The superintendent already stated that they had no idea that the
She's talking about books about like homosexuality and stuff like that be given to her children. So that's why I said this video is so explosive because she's bringing up a lot of accusations, which is why she's fighting in court to sue the public school system in Carmel, New York, because of what her kids were telling her when they came home. Mom, they're telling me that I have to give my pronouns. Mom, they're telling me that I have to hate my religion. Mom, they're telling me this, and she got fed up, and she's doing her duty as a parent and as a mother because
Yeah,
mother's
challenging the system.
responsibility is to protect the children.
Yeah.
The father protects the house, the mother protects the children. Period. And what she is doing, she's doing just that. She's coming in, she's smoking them, and what frustrates me
great.
here, and if anyone, we have to go because of time. I mean, I wish we can keep playing this. I'm telling you, the rest of this is explosive. She accuses them of literally soliciting Joe Biden information, BLM information. They got BLM stuff, banners hanging all around their school. How is that not one-sided?
Yeah, that's crazy. So as a
And like
parent,
she
your
said, and
kid
she
is
also,
forced
yeah,
to that state of mind over the years.
yeah.
Crazy.
Or you're now causing this tension in my house.
Yeah.
Your indoctrination is in causing tension in my home.
Yeah.
Where what takes precedent? What should take precedent? The school or my house? Which one?
Your home for sure.
What I say goes in my house. Period. Children. I tweeted this a few weeks ago about the Jamie Lee Curtis tweet, where she put out an article about how her daughter came out to her, right, and saying she's no longer identifying as a girl. All right. I said we live in a world where we celebrate criminals as heroes, and now children could look at you in the face. Your children, I
Children can look at
personalized it.
you in the face.
Our children, your
Your children.
children can look at you in the face and tell you, I'm not what you say I am. Who gave children the moral superiority over mom and dad? And you know how I ended that? Oh, it's America. Been deconstructing the families since 1967. America has been deconstructing the family network, the family structure since 1967. If you want to know why I keep bringing up that year, look up the history, look up the bill that was passed. We became the welfare state.
We
And we
keep
started
pushing.
incentivizing families, mothers to be married to the state. We have surrogates. This didn't just affect the black family, this affected the white family. And how many single parent homes there are in this country. It's the homes that take precedence over the schools. Do not tell me what I need to be telling my kids. That's my kid. It came out of my body. That came out of my
Facts.
man's sack. Don't tell me what I got to tell my damn kid. And the kid then better not tell me what I need to ought to be calling him or her. That's
Yeah,
not how
yeah,
it
yeah.
works.
But the school system and the people in power do want to guess how they get power over your kids. They get them early. They indoctrinate it with a certain state of mind in order for them, when they go out into the world, they're not really obeying their parents or the God they serve. They're really doing what? Obeying what the world is saying, you know?
And they're appeasing that. And listen, yo, dude, this is personal to me because I got 2 kids. This is very
So so
personal to me.
so Aaron just asked us, you just answered his questions, but
Oh,
he just
I
said,
didn't
I'm
see
not
that.
a father personally, but Macho is, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got 2 kids. I got a daughter and I got a son. And I'd be damn if my son. Listen, if he's a grown ass man, you could tell the world what you want to be. I don't care. Tell the world what you want to be. But to me, you're my son Aiden, and to me, you're my daughter Mabel. Those are my 2 kids' names. I don't ever want to hear any of this nonsense. I grew up in a Hispanic home, bro. The mom, the dad's word is the final judgment, bro. That's it. That's
Mhm.
how it rolls. And that's how it should be because it gives us a proper moral compass. If we do not follow and obey our parents, that's why the Bible, that's the only commandment that gives you a reward is to obey thy mother, thy father. And you know what the reward is? A long life,
Mm.
a prosperous life. So it's like, what in the world? Look, I know folks out there may not believe in the Bible, may not believe in religion, but there is some importance for this religion specifically to comment about our relationship with our parents. They're the moral superiority. We will never gain that, bro. Yeah, as old as you are, as old as I am, Savory, we could look. I look at my mom. She's 70 years old. I will never have moral superiority over her. Never, never. She raised me, bro. She
Mhm.
is my moral compass. I lose that, I'm gone. Whether she lives, whether she's dead, her legacy is my moral compass. She raised me with a rod. She was strict, and that's the reason why I obey the law. And
Yeah.
too many kids today do not obey the law, and they do not comply with authority, and this is why. And I'm thankful
Fatherless
that we have
homes.
somebody, fatherless homes.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
let me calm down. Let me calm
And
down.
that's good. That's good. You got that off your chest, man. I like that. I like that. Those are some great thoughts, man. And we're gonna make a transition, a very important topic nonetheless. But this is gonna lead us to our next topic on COVID and shots being approved for kids. But let's check this out right here. There was a video that was leaked, which was Governor Murphy. His staff member was caught talking about mandating the vaccine after re-election. All right. So
What?
now they're, hunting these people down to make sure.
James
hey,
O'Keefe is like a
James
troll.
O'Keefe is scavenger hunt time.
Yeah, I don't know how he finds these people.
He got
How does he
connections,
find
bro.
them?
The man knows a lot of people. That's why in every state. Man.
Oh,
He's very
yeah.
connected.
Okay, James O'Keefe is the man, bro. And he's the guy that is Project Veritas, right?
Yeah, he's the CEO. Yeah, he started it. It's on mute.
It is on mute.
Questions.
My
Is that
bad.
a violation of free
My
press?
bad, y'all.
Governor Murphy, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. Why did your staff accuse me of criminal harassment for asking questions? Is that a violation of free press in New Jersey, sir? There's Governor Murphy driving away from me.
And just so you guys know, he is part of the press. So
Yeah, he's a journalist.
And he asked in a previous video that we played yesterday, he asked the lieutenant governor, did you indeed file charges against me of harassment?
He asked him right now. He's gonna ask him right now again.
Yeah, okay. And
Well,
then he's saying you haven't done that. I don't know why you're telling the public that you did that. That's what he said yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what he says here.
Jumping right in the car. Governor Murphy accusing us of criminal harassment for asking questions after we caught his staff on tape saying what they're going to do after the election, driving away. He got in that car real fast, didn't he? Real fast.
What a troll.
He drove away. We're not done.
Governor Murphy, this is James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. And my question is, why did your staff and your campaign accuse me of criminal harassment for asking you questions?
My man got the
Isn't that a
horn.
violation of the free press in New Jersey? We know you've seen the videos. Is it true what Wendy said? What Wendy Martinez said?
Lo va a hacer, pero no podía hacerlo antes de la
Oh,
elección.
Savory, I didn't know this was in here.
Porque lo independent y lo undecided.
Governor, what's the status of Wendy Martinez? Does she still work for you?
Look at him smiling. Look.
Are you going to send us another threatening legal letter for asking you questions?
We have a designated protest location if you want to head
Designated
there.
protest location. I'm not a
I'm
protester.
not a protester, I'm a reporter.
We have a designated spot over there. All right.
For
So if you
reporters?
guys want to head that way?
Hold
that
up,
would
hold
be
up.
Fantastic.
Governor Murphy, R.C. Maxwell, Project Veritas.
Yo, press don't need any of that.
Look at this. You see? Do you need a designated protest section? This is journalism, right? This is what you call free press.
But were they telling
press.
BLM this? Were they telling BLM this? When
Tell 'em what do you
when
mean?
they were throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars,
Oh,
taking over a police
they were in the
precinct,
designated protest. They were throwing it from the designated place.
taking over a courthouse. Did they tell them that that was a designated protest area?
Well, they were doing it. They were okay because they were in a designated place, so you
They
can't
were
tell.
okay because they were
Yeah.
representing the blacks. That's why
Yes,
they were
it's
okay.
crazy.
They got power. So when anybody says to me, Savory, that the white elites are the ones in power, I would reconsider that statement. It's black people that have power in this country, and I'm not anti-black. If you haven't seen the color of my skin,
That's
I'm
a whole
not
different
anti-black.
conversation. I got a lot of questions around that, but I won't get into that. Let's keep playing this.
Do you think this is criminal harassment, sir? Reporting and asking questions the public has a right to know? You're an elected official. Governor Murphy seems to simply be hiding in his vehicle.
Look at him.
Guys, we have
Answer
a
questions.
designated demonstration area.
Okay.
It's over this way. If you want to walk that way with me right now, I'm telling you, let's head over there together.
Governor Murphy, what's the status of Wendy Martinez, your
Bernie.
employee who said you're lying to get elected? Governor Murphy? Ignoring our questions. And certainly a little frightened that we're here.
This guy's intense now.
Governor Murphy, are those
I
4
need
years
you.
going to include vaccine mandates that your staff said you're going to institute after you're elected?
James O'Keefe.
I am James O'Keefe.
You're a piece of I hope you
Oh,
go
yeah?
to hell.
Oh, what? Why am I a piece of
Why are you a piece of
Yeah, why am I a piece of
Because you got Acorn defunded. I hope every
Thank
night
God he
you
got
turn out
Acorn
state. You are
defunded.
disgusting.
Do you know who defunded Acorn? Barack Obama defunded Acorn.
Oh!
Barack, I don't have the power to defund organizations, ma'am. It was Barack Obama that did that.
Guys, let's I don't want an altercation right
Do you
now.
know
all right?
what Acorn
Reporter.
was?
Is this what you usually do to reporters?
No, I
you
was
put them in
thinking of
protest
Acorn, the
zones? Never heard of that in my life.
Acorn was that company that's I think was started by Ashton Kutcher. Do you know what he was doing that for?
What?
Sex trafficking. I think so. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. at my alma mater too, Rutgers. Oh, hey, Rutgers in the building.
Okay,
Chip, chip.
okay.
Wait a second.
Oh, word.
Yo, Savory, while we keep playing this, can you look that up?
What?
Savory is the
Yeah.
expert on the show here, so you guys know.
Acorns.
Savory's the expert. So let's turn to the expert here.
Nah, not me, man. I'm a nobody. All right. Oh, House votes to defund Acorn.
I'm curious. Let's play this, and then we'll tap into that. I really want to know.
I'm not a demonstrator. I'm a journalist, something that no one's used to anymore in this state. Hi.
Hi.
What's going on?
I saw your stuff. Hello. I saw your
Hi.
stuff about the. That was a very firm handshake. About the mask stuff.
It was a very loose handshake.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
About the vaccine mandate stuff. What if I'm pro-vaccine mandate? How should I feel about this stuff coming out? I think that in the end, if he's gonna do vaccine mandates, I feel like it's a better bet to vote for him than for someone else.
Why doesn't he just come out and be honest about it?
I guess he's just being, strategic about it.
Well, why not be honest?
All right. Okay. At least she's honest in her responses instead of being enraged.
I don't know. That's a good point. Sorry. Yeah, you got you made me flabbergasted. Flubbers. I don't know.
Got him.
Oh my goodness. I just you can't make this up, Savory. You can't make it up.
Wow. So
I don't get it.
So the woman in that video said Acorns was defunded.
Okay,
Acorns
let's see.
seems to be an organization that was scandal tainted. So Acorn violated serious federal laws, and they pushed legislation to defund them and ban them. So according to here, as long as taxpayers are subsidizing Acorn and its affiliates, we need to use every measure possible to ensure that these dollars are being spent and managed appropriately. Our hidden camera video released on Monday has 2 Acorn employees seen apparently advising a couple that was posing as a prostitute and her pimp to lie about her profession and launder her earnings. The video was the latest in a series that has already led into the firing of 4 Acorn employees in Baltimore. It was created by James O'Keefe and Hannah Gales and posted by biggovernment.com.
Wait a second. What was it for?
Huh?
What was it for?
Firing of 4 Acorns. It was created by James O'Keefe, Hannah Gales. Yeah, it was saying it was just created by James O'Keefe.
So Acorn was created by James O'Keefe.
No, the video exposing was created by James O'Keefe through the hidden camera.
So that's why she's saying you defunded them. He exposed them. He didn't defund them. So it wasn't. This is not the company that was started by Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, well, yeah, he exposed them, but they're blaming him for the explosion. Because of the explosion, they got defunded. So,
and Acorn wasn't started by Kutcher, right? This is not a sex trafficking thing, anti-sex trafficking.
I didn't see that. It might be. I didn't look too deep into it. From what I pulled up so far, I don't see his name. So, yeah.
Yeah. So probably I got the companies confused here, but Acorn could have been a financial company. I don't know. I think there was a confusion in that in my head just now. Anyways, you just saw that. James O'Keefe is pretty much trolling the Phil Murphy campaign because he's challenging him on some of the things that were coming out. Why? Why is he challenging him, Savory?
Because there's a lot of things that have been exposed and he's hiding stuff, right? So the point is, whether you agree or not, it's good for people to know that he's hiding this till after election for a reason. To appease for people who are in the middle. You don't want to stir up. So you're being dishonest, right? An honest one would kind of just pull all that up and really be honest with where he's at, So that's that there. Breaking news here. Let me say this, and I know we got another video to play, but this is interesting here. Biden says Pope told him.
That's a clickbait right there. Biden says
Pope told him he should keep receiving communion despite abortion support. So
the Pope said that?
The Pope.
No, you got proof of this? No, I gotta see the proof. You got proof?
Well, I'm just looking at an article here. I'm sorting. This is from the Epoch Times. He said, we just talked about the fact that he was happy that I was a good Catholic. Asked if the Pope said he should just keep receiving communion, POTUS said. So there's a real quote from POTUS, but we don't know. It's not verified by the Pope, right? But POTUS did say that. Biden did say it, right? That he heard that he told them that, right? Biden told reporters that he did not take communion with the Pope. Asked if he discussed the Catholic bishop, he said private conversation and didn't go into further detail. So anyways, now we have the okaying of the Pope. Why is this important? We're about to play a clip to show you a bigger picture on what's going on here. But think about that. The Pope is okaying the president, regardless of his stance. It's almost like you're
If it's true, yeah.
If it's true, yeah. You're co-mingling federal kind of government and religious kind of institutions. But I won't put it past the Pope, because the Pope is not known to take a lot of liberal stands and be very open about stuff like gay marriage.
It's terrible because it's like you're going back and forth. You had this stance for all these years, and then all of a sudden you become progressive. How is that? How is that a truth? How can we communicate that the Bible is coming from a place of truth when it changes?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
we change to the truth, not the other way around. So why is it that this is happening? And the video that I have here is by James Caviezel. Was at a interview. He interviewed on Fox and Friends last year, and he was promoting his movie Infidel. And Infidel is about a story of a wife who had a husband that was captured in Iran and was on trial for espionage. And I think I'm not sure if they killed him. I don't know the outcome of the movie. I guess Savory and I said we want to watch this movie now after watching this interview. But Jim Caviezel had something to say about taking a stand against these extremists or these extreme ideologies, and maybe we can connect this to CRT, to mandates, to abortion, to anything of that nature. Here's what he has to say.
Very inspiring for the Christians out there.
Oh my God!
Actually thinking about taking a certain stance, making an impact, because especially for the Christians, but I'm sure everybody could get something out of this. But I think this is incredibly important.
Was Ronald Reagan gave a speech, a time for choosing speech in 1964, and he said, "You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness." What can Americans learn from Ronald Reagan? What are your thoughts on that at this moment in time?
Yes, that's right. He said that, and he said now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson in history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is a specter our well-meaning Christian liberal friends, our priests, bishops, and pastors refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives us no choice between peace and war, only between fight and surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we will have to face the final demand, the final ultimatum. And what then? When Satan has told the people of this world he knows what our answer is going to be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of his Cold War, and someday when the time is right to deliver his final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because you see, by then we will have been so weakened from within, spiritually, morally, economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better red than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know it and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Ridge have refused to fire the shot heard around the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our beloved dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis did not die in vain. Where then lies the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all, that you and I have the courage to tell our enemies there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which evil must not advance. In the words of Reagan, evil is powerless if the good are unafraid.
Jim Caviezel.
Woo. Woo. Evil is powerless if the good are unafraid.
Wow.
And this is what we have, Savory. We have a lot of people appeasing.
That's very powerful.
We have people in religious sectors. We have people, pastors from the pulpit. We have politicians speaking from the pulpit, and they're appeasing our social demands today.
Crazy.
Like I said, we change according to the truth. The truth doesn't change according to us.
Facts.
So when I hear the Pope saying, or if it is true that the Pope said, "Oh yeah, go ahead taking communion," despite the fact of his stance on abortion, whatever your stance in, listen, is the argument of abortion is not the argument here. What I'm saying is, why is the Pope appeasing
Yeah.
someone?
That's
That's
the
not your
biggest thing.
job.
They're weaponizing the institutional power, right? Because the Catholic has a lot of has a hold. The Catholic institution has a lot of hold on families, right? That come from other countries, hold that dearly. So if politically you can control that, it's your way to control a lot of other families and people and things like that, you know. And like for example, right here, we have something that the Supreme Court in this country did, right? So a judge blocks Biden administration from firing unvaccinated employees with pending religious exemptions.
Ooh.
So I think that's big right there. Just a reminder for a lot of people taking a stand. Like there's tons of people fighting, but because of our system, we don't have a system where you can do something overnight, which is the pro and the con. But it's more of a pro because there's a process to everything, which is why, look, when you stand firm, it's just a matter of time till a lot of these evil people pay and stuff like that, man. Yeah, you
Charlene,
pass the quiet?
Charlene had something to share here in the comment section.
Oh yeah, that
about
was
the
on
acorn.
O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just breaking down in the US, Acorn suffered a damaging nationwide controversy. Yeah, so that's what I was mentioning. Is states concluded that
Thanks for
videos are
commenting.
inaccurately
Appreciate it.
portraying the personnel as encouraging criminal behavior. The organization did recover in the US and dissolved. So yeah, of course they're blaming it on O'Keefe, because he always, he's been sued a whole bunch of times. But quick, interesting fact about O'Keefe: he's never lost a lawsuit. So you might ask yourself why. So
he's a journalist.
you know what I'm saying? Like he's
a journalist. He's gonna go. He is what Sean King should be.
Yeah, or a lot of these people should be.
Yeah. So, how important is it to take a stand, Savory? You're taking. I wanted to talk about taking a stand, acts of courage, pushing back against this whole idea of appeasing the far extremities of this country, and how important it is to have compromises, talk about the trade-offs. It's okay if both sides loses as long as both sides gain. You get what I'm saying? If both individually sides lose something, but both sides gain in that partnership, then we all win. But unfortunately, it's either my side or your side, or my side or your side. I don't understand that. We're kind of losing that, and you're taking a stand at your job against the notion of get vaxxed or get axed, right? And I thought this would be a great idea for us to talk about acts of courage, and we need more of this. We don't acts of courage, folks, is not throwing stuff at buildings, throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers, painting
with a mask
it's not.
on,
This is not a V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta is not the proper approach. I'm sorry. You have a guy like Chris Hedges, who is a quote unquote journalist, by the way. He is as extreme as it comes, by the way. Look him up. He is terrible.
Crazy.
This guy is saying we need another revolution, and he doesn't understand the implication of what that even means. We need to have a revolution that is compromising, that talks, that has discussion, that has litigation, not the revolution in which the Chris Hedges and the BLM, the Benjamin Crumps of the world think that revolution needs to be. The Kamala Harrises, the Maxine Waters. That's not a revolution. That is a cult takeover.
Facts.
I dare anybody to debate me on that. That is a cult takeover. You do not take the country and handcuff them and tell them they can't say the very things they want to say off their chest. I understand social respect, Savory. I understand it. But don't tell me I can't say or utter the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's where we're going, man. Where a lot of people are afraid to really be honest with what's
Terrible.
going on in this world. And then if you do that long enough, then you won't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's only so much you can hold the truth you want to say in, because it gets to a point where things get so bad that your voice won't even matter.
I
But
blame
now,
men.
while it matters, you
I
gotta
blame
speak up.
men
Yeah,
because
a lot
men
of it
have
is men,
lost
for
their
sure.
courage.
Yeah,
Men
I
have
agree with
lost
that.
their courage. They lost their psychological courage.
Yeah, I agree. And that was a
I'm not
strategic thing over the
be
decades.
yeah, I'm not gonna be simple-minded and say they lost their balls. Yeah, as simply as to put it like that, yes. But you lost your psychological courage. You can't stand up with wisdom, with smartness, without emotion to disrespect the other side. You don't need to devalue anybody else. You need to challenge them, educated. You need to challenge them with a sense of wisdom, grace, and humility. This stuff doesn't make sense. And sometimes when you're trying to make peace, it's a waging of war. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. But you know what? It's got to happen. And too many men are non-confrontational. They'll sit back and say, "Well, I don't want this problem. Just get in." I asked Savory yesterday because I was badgering him, and I said, just get vaxxed, bro. Just do it." And you said, "No, I will not submit or cave to their demands. This is bigger than my job. This is bigger than a dollar. This is bigger than that." And here is a video clip I want to close out the night with of Jordan Peterson having a heated debate. This man is ahead of the time. He's ahead of the curve. This was in 2016, folks. He had a debate on Canada mainstream news. Here's what how that debate went down.
Thanks.
Professor Peterson, let's begin with you. Why are you against the use of alternate pronouns?
I'm against the use of legislation to determine what words that myself and other people are required to utter.
But would you use alternate pronouns if a student asked you to?
I think I've made my position on that clear already.
Well, perhaps not to our audience at home.
That's how you do it. That's how you take a stance right there. I made my position on that clear already. That's how you tell the other side, I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you, bro. Truth is
They're
true.
trying to get a different kind of response to trap you again. That's what the left does a lot, unfortunately.
And he does not get emotional here, folks. This is what men ought to be like. This is what men today need to be like. And this is how you rise up. You don't rise up by throwing stuff at the police and being non-compliant, taking over police precincts, bombing, shooting, killing, stealing. That's not being a man.
Just being a coward, actually. But yeah, let's go.
Oh, facts, Savory. Oh, man. This wisdom that utters out of your mouth. Jesus.
Home who are just being introduced to this, would you use alternate
No.
pronouns? And why not?
Because I don't believe that other people have the right to determine what language I use, especially when it's backed by punitive legislation. And when the words that are being required are the constructions, they're artificial constructions of people I regard as radical ideologues whose viewpoint I do not share.
Punitive legislation, which he's saying is that I am not going to submit to your demands legally, especially if I'm going to be legally punished if I don't.
Yeah,
I will
so
not submit.
Yeah, that's the big thing there, right? Let me just say this really quick. The big thing right there is you have something that they're trying to normalize in culture. And then for those who don't accept what's happening in the culture, right, the indoctrination in schools and all this, they pass legislation to force the rest of the people to act that way. That's how tyranny always comes.
So if you violate that law, you'll be subject to legal ramifications.
Exactly. So again,
And that's why he says I will not submit to the whole pronoun notion, especially if it is against the law.
Exactly. And I have the same viewpoint where it's like, look, if somebody personally tells me you want to be called this, I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. I'll call you there, whatever. But at the end of the day, the similar thing, I'm the same way. If the government now is telling me I need to call somebody, I'm definitely not doing it now, because now you are controlling not only what I say, but what I think and how I act when I'm interacting with people, because that affects you psychologically, how you act. Because you're thinking, oh, wait, I can't call him this. I'm not playing that game with nobody, bro. No, don't be my friend. Like, if you think I got to call you, just don't be my friend. I don't got time for that. I'm not doing that with nobody.
Tell him, Savory.
Period.
Tell him.
there.
Well, we have a graphic to show our audience at home, just some of the pronouns being used or asked to be used as alternates. Among
why do
them
I
we
need to
see
know
here,
this?
Z or Zim, Z or...
Savory, they find anything they can to still
This is the game I'm not
indoctrinate.
playing. You see, this is the game I would never play. But if somebody comes to me personally, they want to be called something, I really don't mind, right? I don't have time to argue. It's like, you want to be called A? I'm like, all right, cool, A, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But now if you try to legislate that and then have people try to remember to change reality, all right? You want people to change the reality of gender and kind of, I'm not playing that game with you.
Yeah, facts.
Here, Z or Zir, also K, or A rather, and per. So just some of the alternate pronouns there. Professor Pete, when you hear Professor Peterson saying that this is oppressive, how do you respond to that?
The Peterson drama has done real harm to real people on campus. He's made it harder to be transgender or non-binary. I know this from personal experience. I'm non-binary and transgender, and I know how it's felt to be on the U of T campus for the last month. And I also know from private communications with other affected people. In New Zealand, where I grew up, academics have a statutory role enshrined in the Education Act to be a critic and conscience of society. So I think that's an idea worth exporting to Canada. So I'd like to give Peterson about a B+ for his critic role recently, and an F for the conscience part. A student once said to me when I finally obtained tenure, "Now, Professor, now that you have obtained superpowers, you must agree to use them for good, for peace and justice." So I invite Peterson to start doing more of that.
Well, Professor Peterson, those who are asking for this alternate use of alternate pronouns, they are saying it boils down to respecting their human rights. How do you respond to that?
I don't think it boils down to respecting their human rights. I think that it's an imposition on freedom of speech that's being implemented at a legislative level. I also think that if there was a naturally evolving solution to the linguistic problem that's being posed by a small fraction of the transgender community, that people would have already adopted it. We've never had a situation.
Remember what I told you?
We never had a problem.
Remember I told you about, you see, now you have a small fraction of the transgender community changing the rules of society. I'm not okay with that. I'm okay with you having your rules and you feeling comfortable. Cool. Right? Like, people should live their lives, but when it comes to changing upside down world, the rules, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to cap it at that because I got another video here, and I'm going to push Savory here to extend this a bit. But the reason I want you guys to look at the rest of that video, Jordan Peterson heated debate with a transgender or on the topic of pronouns. Notice how he never rises in tone. He never interjects. He never disrespects. He doesn't say anything. And the other person they have him debating there, if you missed it, is a fellow colleague. They wanted some agitation. This was a fellow colleague of Jordan Peterson, whom also is a fellow or a tenured professor at the specific university in Ontario. They want this kind of debate. They want this kind of resistance. Come on. You have to stand for free speech. If you let that go, we're gone. As a country, we won't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that our reality, you made a good point, and that's why I want to bring this video up about our reality, our perspective. There was Barry Weiss, who is a former journalist at the New York Times, had a few things to say on Brian Selter, who I can't stand, but I like the fact that she made him look like a fool in this video.
There are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. Mm-hmm. When we're not allowed to acknowledge that rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence, the world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing, the world has gone mad. when in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race. And that is called progress rather than segregation. The world has gone mad. There are dozens of examples that I could share with you and with
And
your
you
viewers.
often say,
everyone
allowed.
sort of knows this, and
you say we're not allowed. We're not.
I know we have to stop it in case, because of,
Oh yeah, be careful.
copyright.
CNN. No
Listen,
stuff
I'm
like
going to
that.
just say whatever, so we can comply with that. But I'm going to keep playing this because she smokes it.
Just say you love CNN. Say you love CNN.
I love CNN. I love
right, go.
CNN.
Not able. Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
People that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now, who try and claim that, it was racist to investigate the lab leak theory. It was.
But
I mean,
who
let's
said
just
that
take
at
an
CNN?
example.
But I'm just saying that when you say allowed, I just think it's a provocative thing you say. You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet.
He knows exactly about the whole
Come on,
allowed. It's
man.
not provocative.
Come on,
It's
Brian.
socially unacceptable to say, why can't we look at the origins of the lab leak?
Come on,
You know
Brian.
it's socially unacceptable. You'll
Come
be
on,
canceled.
man.
You say the word China the wrong way because it represents a previous president and his xenophobia. You're gone. You're canceled. Prepare to be canceled. You're over.
What a
Come on, he knows
disaster.
exactly what's going on. He's a
Take a sip of
clown.
wine for that.
I can
That's
Google them. I
crazy.
can
Brian,
find them everywhere. I've heard about every story you
Of
mentioned.
course.
So I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
But you and I both know, and it would be delusional to claim otherwise, that touching your finger to an increasing number of subjects that have been deemed third rail by the mainstream institutions and increasingly by some of the tech companies will lead to reputational damage, perhaps you losing your job, your children sometimes being demonized as well. And so what happens is a kind of internal self-censorship. This is something that I saw over and over again when I was at the New York Times. People saying to themselves, you know what? Why should I die on that hill? Why should I take the 3 or 4 weeks that it takes to smuggle through an op-ed that doesn't suit the conventional narrative? I might as well commission the 5,000th op-ed saying that Donald Trump is a moral monster. What's going on is the transformation of these sense-making institutions of American life. It's the news media, it's the publishing house, it's the Hollywood studios, it's our universities, and they are narrowing in a radical way what's acceptable to say and what isn't. And you and I both know there doesn't need to be
What's acceptable to say and what isn't.
And
Don't
again-
you learn that? You learned that at home.
This is why there's a market for people just talking. What we're doing is, I think it's just amazing for, I think, many people down the road, even ourselves, giving ourselves a space, because the world is not giving people a space to really openly talk about whatever they want. And it's a problem. It's a problem.
We need to have civil discourse. Just have the conversation. Just talk. That's all we want. Just have the conversation. I don't care if I'm going to get canceled. I don't care what I'll get labeled as. My friends on Facebook don't care about what I post. They just say, you know what, something's wrong with you. Oh, I don't understand why you're taking this point of view. Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you have an actual discussion? Come on this show. Have a discussion.
And
Talk
let's
to
talk
us.
about it. And let's talk about it. And these are, and look, and let me tell you, there's consequences that add up, right? It's a building block. They play the long game, right? These people who are
Who's these
really,
people? I'm curious. These people.
I think just elites and people in power. It could be from government officials to even people who fund government officials. Like, it's
Lobbyists.
hard to get all the names, but just a lot of people, right? You hear names like George Soros get thrown around, stuff like that. But these are the people that can fund certain ideas, right? And when you fund those ideas, they're in the long-term game of changing the mind, which is why it changes university teachings, high school, sex education, CRT. Why? Because they're trying to get the future leaders of this country on their side. And then with that, you roll out things like right now, I don't know how many of y'all heard about this. We just rolled out, not we, FDA just rolled out the approval of the Pfizer vaccine for kids ages 5 through 11, right? And this is the Wall Street Journal. This is what a mom says in the Wall Street Journal. It's hard to know we can't get the vaccine, says a mom of 2 boys. We will be too young to get the Pfizer. Her kid is under 5 and she's stressed. The vaccine, when it's authorized, is only from 5 to 11. So she's stressed because her 2 and 3-year-old cannot get the vaccine, right? I found that incredibly like mind-boggling, because I'm like, well, how do you justify being mad at that, right? And then check this. I just want to read this quick quote, and then I'll get to some interesting facts here, right? This holiday season, she won't take her girls shopping. Her family won't go to church. She will be hunkering down while her friends are at an annual Christmas party. She is hoping to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with the grandparents, but knows the plans could be scrapped at last minute if anybody gets a sniffle. That's called living in fear. My friend, that is a story, a headline, a reality of how many people are living that way. I'm not saying you don't take care of your kids, but to have this mentality, and these are the facts I want to share to prove how illogical and insane what she's saying is. Yes, I said it, insane. You have to be you have to be literally not thinking and maybe glued to your TV with not one book in sight, not one website or
watching
internet
Brian
connection.
Selter. She's
You
probably
can't.
watching Brian
Yeah, this
Selter.
is crazy. All right, look, check this out. COVID shots ages 5 through 11. People are going to find this really interesting. There are 28.4 million children between ages 5 and 11. 79 have died in over 21 months. You hear that? There's 28.4 million children, 5 through 11. You know how many have died? 79. This is a death rate of 0.0000278. That is a survival rate of 99.9999722%. Look at this. So it's almost impossible. Like, go look up the chances of getting struck by lightning twice a day. It will be this. If all kids, and check this out. You ready? I'm gonna end with something. Add another interesting fact on top of this. If all kids in the United States get from 80% to 100% get vaccinated, that's $1.4 billion for pharmaceutical companies. That's just a thought. It might mean nothing to you, but this is just, I think, interesting for people to know, right?
Right.
And by the way, that's if it's one dose. One doctor said this. He's for the kids' vaccine. It would be very, very similar to the adult dosing schedule. It will be 2 shots of a lower dose administered 3 weeks apart. So you could double that profit. If it's 1.4, I'm guessing you could probably double. Don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing we're looking upward of $2+ billion. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyways, my point in saying all that is when we don't stand up, right? When we don't talk about the things we want to talk about, you lose your right to challenge things like this, right? Because you're afraid of how you're going to look. I just read you common sense statistics of almost
Also,
30
if you
million
want to do this for your kid, that's your prerogative.
No, it
but
is.
Don't generalize it. You know what I mean?
The problem is this, right? Because I don't even know if they have a mandate for kids, to be honest, right? That would be frustrating as well, but they might have it in some public schools, I'm assuming, for you to go back. So they're going to make it really difficult. But the problem is this. There's many people who have no idea about these statistics, right?
That's
and they think of COVID and they're fear-ridden. So they just want to vaccinate every single person in their household, which I think that mentality is a problem, you know? So
it should always be a choice. Look, we're not anti-vaccination. We're against the mandates. You don't need to mandate anything. Give people a choice. Were there ever a mandate for the what was the swine flu? Was there ever a mandate for it? 60 some odd million people got the swine flu vaccine. 60 million
enough.
people in America. But you didn't have to mandate it. People were getting it. Because why? The hysteria. Because people were scared. They were like, oh, I don't really want to get the swine flu. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, don't mandate anything. If you learn anything about the Spanish flu, this is not new. People were against taking the vaccine then. People were against the mandates then. People were violating that. Remember, people wearing masks during the Spanish flu. This is not new. This is not new. History is repeating itself for some strange, odd reason.
Facts.
And we have to stand up against this. We have to stand against the subtle acts of tyranny, because if we don't take a hard stand here now,
we won't have a
we won't be
soon.
prepared for hard tyranny.
Our
country will just take away our guns. We'll take away our freedom of speech. We'll take away our right. I mean, we don't say Nazi Germany for no reason, folks.
Yeah, it's a stretch until it's not. Again, it starts by one right being taken away, then another, and it's all going to be justified for your safety and health. So you have to make sure that you make that decision, you know? So at the end of the day, let's really be honest with what's going on in this country. And it's the lack of freedom and choice, right?
Right.
If you want to push certain stuff, we have a free market system. Or if you want to do something like a mandate, at least, right? Look at this for food for thought, right? Before I hand it back to you, right? If you want to do a mandate, why not lift the clause that says that these pharmaceutical companies can be sued, right? I might be willing if I can sue them if something happens. Who knows? But you can't do none of it.
Right.
You can't do none of that. They're still
It gives
protected.
me some strength. It gives me something to say. If
They
something
want
happens to me, my family will get taken care of because I
You
can
lose
fight
your
this in court.
freedom and you take all liability. That's the trade-off they want. Anyways,
Wow, that's terrible.
drinks to the nobody. I loved it, man.
All right. So this is what we want to do here, folks. We want to create a channel of this. In the future, we want to bring on guests. We want to interview them. We want to have live debates right here in front of your eyes. We want to talk about tough topics. We don't want people who think the way we do. We don't believe that the country. You want to know what real progressivism is? When two people have opposing ideas get together and then you hear things in the middle of that conversation go, bam, that's gold. That's gold. I may not agree with both sides, but you know what? What fell off that tree in the middle is something that I want. And that has changed the course of history. Look at our previous history, folks. It is the opposing sides debating one another that changes the course of history. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do here at Drinks with the Nobody. We want to have discussions. So please follow us on YouTube. We want to build a community. We want to build a place where our people, our society will see we can get along. We can have discussions. We can have group meetings. We can talk about these things.
Facts.
And maybe our politicians will actually listen to the truth rather than tell us their truth. It should be the other way around, folks. So thank you for joining us on this Friday. As always, we'll be right back here on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to follow us on Twitch. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Be sure to follow us on TikTok. In case you miss any of the content, we'll have clips up there. We'll have promotions up there. Be sure to just follow us on all these things. And be sure to also hit the subscribe button. Click that notification bell. So when we go live, you'll be able to watch us.
Check you
Until
out.
Monday.
Drinks to the nobody. We check you out with a drink on Monday.
See you then.